So the big question is this: how do most agents who struggle to get the information that most successful agents hoard to themselves grow and prosper without this information? That's the big question, and this video cast is the answer. Welcome to Real Estate Rockstars. I'm your host, Pat Hyben. And now, for the review of the day. I got a 5-star comment from Cheryl Wyndham on our Certified Listing Agent course on Rebus University. Cheryl says, great course, lots of different styles of presenting, gives you great content on how to be professional and knowledgeable on any listing presentation. Keep the comments coming, guys. I love them. And remember, I eat feedback for breakfast, so give me a 1-star review if you want, or a 5-star review if you want. I don't care. And the more reviews we get, the better guests we get. So please, subscribe first, and then leave us a review or wherever you're listening. All right, Rockstar Nation, we got a great guest today coming out of Denver, Colorado. I am excited. He is stirring things up out there. Army veteran, served in 2 wars, I believe, right? And making people turn their heads, and he's doing a lot of things. A lot of people emailed us, said you got to get Brendan on the show. So without further ado, welcome the Real Estate Rockstars, Brendan Bartic.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Hey, Brendan, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about you so they get to know you better?
Yeah, so kind of what you said in the bio. So United States Army infantry veteran, have been in real estate about 18 years. Currently have a real estate team of 20 agents and about 5 support staff. We really just ramped up the agent count this year, but we did about 260 transactions last year for 115 million in volume. And we're looking to do about 400 transactions this year. And just excited about growing and developing the company.
That's awesome, dude. So let's get down to some nitty gritty then. So what was your ECI, Brendan? We like to call it on the show, ego commission income, which would be your total commission income earned before broker splits everything.
2.5 million. Let's do that.
That's awesome. Yeah, we'll round it down. And what's your profit margin?
Right now we are at about 45% profit.
That's awesome, dude. So you're pulling in about a million, 2 for yourself, $1.3 million for yourself. Exactly. Was last year your first year over $1 million net?
No, we netted $1 million for like the last 2 years. The biggest difference of this year was the first year I removed myself completely out of production. So that was the real testament, was could we do it again? Because prior to that, I had been selling over 100 plus homes myself every year for the last 12 years.
That's without a team, you mean?
Well, no, with me and the team. So with me selling 100 or so more myself, just me, not the team, and then the team doing another 100. So this was the first time that we did 260 without me selling any.
So you took, in the last 12 months, you've taken yourself out of the business completely.
Exactly correct.
Well, we're going to talk about that today because we're going to see the pains you went through with that, how easy, how hard, and what you learned.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's just start with that. What was that like?
It was terrifying, but really what it came down to in a weird way is I was at a listing appointment and I got attacked by a dog on the listing appointment. And so when that happened, the dog had bit through my upper lip and I wasn't able to talk for 2 weeks. And so what it put me into a situation was realizing what I needed to do. I couldn't talk, so I couldn't work. And then I started thinking, well, my gosh, what if something ever really seriously happened to me? Could I still have a business that I didn't have to be involved in and make the same money? And obviously Keller Williams teaches a lot of this 7th level training and all of this. And so I had that 2-week period to kind of sit back and look at it and say, okay, what would I have to put in place so I wouldn't have to go in person on another listing appointment? And I took the Keller Williams models and systems, went and looked at some of the other teams in Keller Williams that I wanted to model after, met with a lot of them, got me a coach that was specific on how to do this, and just built a system on not having me in production.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Now, let me drop back a little bit. So what happened? So you went there, you went to bend over to pet the dog and it jumped up and bit your lip off?
No, I had already been on the appointment, and I was competing against 3 or 4 other agents. And then she called me the next day and said, I got it, and told me to come back by to get the paperwork. And when I came back by, she went to open the door to greet me, and her pit bull mastiff mixed dog jumped through the door and lunged at my face and bit my face.
And did it, you know, a lot of times those dogs lock. Did it lock on you?
Yeah, no, it kind of just swooped and just like, luckily, could have been my nose, it could have been anywhere. It just happened to just, his 2 top teeth came down right on my lip, and so I had to get 52 stitches in my lip. My lip was hanging off and I was bleeding everywhere. And everybody always asks, well, did you get the listing? And the answer was yes. And then we ended up giving it back because of, you know, legal concerns with the insurance and the homeowner's insurance. And that was a whole nother realm, because there's dog lawyers and all this stuff that you don't realize exist. But great, luckily with great plastic surgeons, in a weird way, it was one of the best things that happened in my business.
Yeah, that's crazy. 52 stitches. And you just laid there and held it, and blood was squirting everywhere, and she called 911 and ambulance came. And
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of in shock. So I actually, you know, just took a bunch of gauze or toilet paper that she gave me. And then luckily she lived about 5 minutes from the hospital, drove myself to the hospital with blood everywhere. And then they took it from there.
Jeez. Wow. All right. So blessing in disguise, let's call it. 52 stitches is a blessing in disguise, if you want to say. It forced you out. What did you do? How did you build this structure, this wall around you instantly, so that you were no longer working in the business and day-to-day stuff, so that you would never get bit by a dog again?
Yeah. So what I realized I had to do is become very good at lead generation, and then very good at having a structure of agents that I was training and teaching that wanted to have a high accountability system. That, I mean, I'm talking to the highest degree of, I mean, we do daily tracking sheets. We do, I mean, we're very scheduled in what we do. So first I had to kind of get everybody on the same mission that I was doing for years. And then the second real fold was, okay, well, how do I produce enough leads for them to be of value? And then 3, how do I focus on converting those at a much higher rate so that we can all make money? So
Okay.
A lot of systems and processes mixed in with figuring out how to become a better lead acquisition person, and really understanding my cost per lead, my numbers on basically what it would take if I needed to replace my income and I'm only making a portion of those proceeds from the team members that are working underneath me.
And what'd you come up with?
Well, so that equation, I mean, obviously with the splits, is the battle is producing leads cheap enough at the same time. So getting that lead acquisition cost anywhere down from $20 to $24 per lead that I was producing per agent. And then looking at our conversion ratios, okay, well, if I'm making X on a $10,000 deal, then how many of these leads can I give to them to produce into a contract to get to where we need to go? Then on the side effect of that was, how can I teach them all the ways of how to produce their traditional business, meaning expireds for sell by owners, but do it at a high level where they truly have the tools and systems needed, including the listing presentation. So, you know, as you know, if you're new and coming into the business and you're going out to meet with a client, then obviously you probably aren't the greatest listing presenter on earth. So we spend a lot of time videotaping and training and making sure that when you set an appointment, you go out there and you get that appointment. And then also providing the agents with the dialing systems, providing the agents with the CRM and the contact management systems. Our direct mail system is very elaborate in what we do. It's very similar to the Keller Williams 8x8 33 touch, but modified. So it was really, and then I had to build manuals. What really took me the longest amount of time, to be honest with you, we already had kind of a general manual, was literally having a manual for agents that had documentation on everything we do. And then we created a 100-day certification process to make sure that they actually were getting through that process, and that I felt like I'd put my stamp of approval on it, that they were as good as me or better.
It's kind of like a boot camp.
It was 100% a boot camp, and we lost a lot of people. People said, "Screw you, that's not for me. I want to, sell houses by, taking pictures on Instagram." But for the people that took it seriously, I mean, we had the Rookie of the Year for our office, for our company last year. Several agents on my team make over $300,000. I mean, we're really proud about the production level that we have.
Yeah, that's no kidding. So talk to me about this boot camp. First of all, do the agents get paid while in boot camp?
They do now. They didn't before. So yeah, we learned that in modeling another team. So now every agent comes in as a internal sales associate for the first 90 days. And during that 90 days, we teach them how to lead generate, how to learn their scripts and dialogues, basically do our entire process. And then at the end of that 90 days, if they make it through that transition, then we will put them in as a buyer specialist or listing specialist inside of our organization, depending upon their skill set.
And so how much do they get paid while in boot camp?
Yeah, so it's $3,000 a month, or a month, $3,000. Yeah, no, a month.
$3,000 a month. Yeah.
Yeah, $3,000 a month. But plus, they also get, for every lead they set, they are getting 5% off of that closing of any lead that's converted while they're setting those appointments for those agents.
So basically, they become like mass prospectors for 90 days, and then they get bonuses on prospects, and the leads, they can't work yet. They got to give them to the other agents in the office. So it also serves as a call center.
Exactly right. Oh yeah, which is part of what that's our promise to our clients, especially when we're on listing presentations, is that we do have this call center. So what's the difference between us and your agent is that we have 6 individuals Monday through Monday through Sunday now on the phones, reaching out, trying to find a home buyer for your property. Can your agent do that? I don't think so.
All right, guys, why waste thousands of dollars and countless hours on training that never touches on what matters most? How to make more money in real estate. For just $7, you can start a 1-week trial at Rebus University today. And what that means is $13,000 worth of real estate courses on how to make more commissions will be available to you for $1 a day. It's all you can eat. Go in there and take them all if you can. Only $7. To start your 7-day all-access free trial, go to futureofrealestatetraining.com. These courses are guaranteed to get you more listings, more leads, and more commissions. Futureofrealestatetraining.com, or just text the word trial to 444-999. That's TRIAL to 444-999. I don't think so. That's awesome. Okay, so I'll tell you, I'm fascinated by this boot camp. So, month 1, what do they learn, and what do they do, and how hard do they work?
Yeah, even probably. So it's a 40-hour work week, and I would say month 1 is much more, or even week 1 is much more scripts and dialogues, psychology of the people that they're talking to, understanding the categories, because not all these people came in directly from real estate. And so it's learning the language of real estate is what we call it, right? So language of real estate in the aspect of really understanding, hey, this is how I set an appointment and get in the door. So at least our listing specialist or buyer specialist has a chance to get in front of these people. We're extremely high converting when we get in front of the people, but it's that phone to conversion ratio or phone to appointment ratio that is obviously what we're trying to improve on. So a lot of practice, a lot of shadowing, a lot of all of that. And then our claim to fame is really also our lead follow-up system. So making sure that they understand how we process a lead. I always give the example of, you have this big, like the guys up in Alaska, you're dumping all this dirt into this huge machine and you're trying to get little specks of gold to flake out at the very bottom. Well, the guy that has the better machine is the guy that's going to have the better gold that comes out at the bottom. So we're trying to process every person that comes through our system and nurture them so they turn into an appointment and or referral.
Yeah, fascinating. I like that. Sam Monreal has been on the show a couple of times. He has a company called Rocker Box, and that's what an actual definition of a rocker box is, that machine that you shake, and then the rocks, you know what I mean? The rocks, the gold rocks come out. But so anyways, that's really cool. So now, is it a drill sergeant sort of person training them during that first month, or do you just plug them in front of a video like a substitute teacher would and say, here, watch these videos and learn?
No, so it's much more of a village atmosphere. So we have a director of sales that came on about 6 months ago, he's fantastic, who basically leads the majority of all of the trainings and role plays and all of that. We built out a very refined Google Drive that is what we call our knowledge center. It's a cool name that we thought we came up with. just joking.
Knowledge center, yeah.
It's a Google Drive with all of our stuff in it. And in there has every video. What we had to do is first document every single thing we were doing and then make it where you could explain it. Our goal is, could a 12-year-old learn this, right?
Okay.
If we can get it to a 12-year-old understanding this, then that means it's scalable, and that means that we can get it across. If that's not the case, because I think what we underestimate is a lot of what we do is technical, but it's really not. We probably think a lot of agents I hear them go, we're like, oh, well, no one can write a contract like me. That's like one of the funniest things I ever hear, right? I write the best contract out there. And I'm like, well, you can only write a contract so many different.
There's only 20 things to fill in the blank.
That's what I'm saying.
Frankly, artificial intelligence is going to fill in 18 of those 20, or probably all 20.
Theory shortly. So that was the thing, is just focusing on, can we get some of these overly complicated processes simplified and then train people strong enough to be able to do it without screwing it up.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And all right, so let's talk about your business a little bit, right? What percentage of your business is listings versus buyers?
We were about 65% listings last year.
All right, I love that. Okay, so tell me about how you created this. How you created a 65% listing-based business. What do you do to get listings?
Well, we really focus. I mean, I would say even though it's 65%, we focus 95% of our efforts on it. So every morning, our agents are going through a check down, which is, again, what I tell every agent they should do is expireds for sell by owners, just listed, just sold, the NED list, rent by owners, and then your center of influence, and then past clients. And so with that daily regiment, because those are the highest potency to least potency, in my opinion, of people that are going to be ready to list their home in the next 30 to 60 days.
What's an NED list?
Notice of elective demand. So people that are 60, 90 days past due on their mortgage.
And so you provide all your agents with all these lists.
Absolutely.
Right. And then all they got to do is show up and call them.
And be committed. Yeah. And have the ability to get hung up on, have the ability to, the hardest part in this business is just finding people that are immune to rejection.
So Brendan, how do you make sure that the agents aren't calling the same person?
Well, we tried that a lot of different ways, and then we realized that it doesn't really matter. We will have the same amount of agents call the same expired list on the same day, almost at the same time, and have different results. Our Mojo technology filters out people that told us, go screw yourself, or don't call me again, or whatever it is. So those people get instantly eliminated. But we realized early on that you can't say, hey, you're doing this time, you're doing this, because human error won't do it. Even if I put $100,000 in front of you and said, all you have to do is make these 50 phone calls a day, we knew human nature was involved. So we don't limit it to who can call what. We just make sure at the end of the week that very basic. I was a Mike Ferry trained agent, not Matt Ferry, but his father, Mike Ferry, trained agent. And so we much more are 100 contacts a week, right? So 500 calls a day, 20 contacts a day, 100 contacts a week. And if you do that consistently, and then obviously we can analyze the rest of the data, your conversions will be there.
So what tools do you have in place that help your agents just be calling machines?
Yeah. So what we've recently gone to is a schedule, obviously, because the problem with most agents is if there's not a schedule, then they come and go as they please and they do what they want as they please. And we knew that that wasn't very effective. So the schedule was number one.
Wait a minute. What's the schedule? The schedule says today is NED list, tomorrow is expired list, or what do you mean?
More broken down than that. So on every day, there's 4 categories of what they're hitting on an average day. We have everybody hit expireds in the morning, no matter what, because that we know needs to happen. So that's from 7:30 to 9 a.m. The rest of it, we have for sale by owners, just listed, just sold. So these are broken into 4 different categories that people are calling. And then we provide you with a monthly schedule. And then the other piece that we implemented that I think is the high quality is that then you have things that have to be done. So what we used to do is say, hey, you're going to go make a just listed or a just sold call. Well, there's Mojo, go create your list and good luck with that. Now we're creating the list and saying, I want this list completed by the end of the week. And so with that, the agents have been happier because they're like, okay, now I know what I'm supposed to do, instead of sitting there going, okay, well, which property should I call? Which should I do this? So
yeah, it puts them in downtime, right? You know,
exactly. Yeah. As you know, analysis puts you in paralysis, right? And that's the one thing I keep thinking of all the time. Analysis puts you in paralysis. And so if I can get people to stop thinking about what to do and just take action, we're going to crush it.
Now, I was reading about this tactic that a lot of agents are doing now. Rather than trying to sit there and scrub the do not call list, they call the person on the cell. When they answer, they hang up. Then the person calls back and says, you just called me. And they avoid the do not call list because the person called them. You guys doing that?
Yes, that's part of our call process anyway, to a certain degree, just because we know that we usually get a lot more people to answer if they don't understand why they're calling. I think those days are getting far and few between. What we've seen by far our most potent way of communication is text. Our text campaigns and our way that we're utilizing text, I think, is one of the biggest opportunities that the phone is just becoming. Traditional phone is, of course, we have to talk to people, but to get that initial consultation set up, the do not call and the original phone calls are becoming few and far between to make connections.
So what are you doing? Let's say I'm transitioning. I'm saying, because I've had people on the show that's, just like you or similar to you, calling is dead. You got a text. One lady came on the thing and she said from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m., all she does is like text people constantly, hundreds and hundreds of texts, and she's crushing it. And so tell me about how you have transitioned more from calling to texting.
Yeah, so we still call. So our process is, so we've got automated call text campaigns that are built into our CRM. So we'll call. If we're not able to obviously talk to the person right then we press a button on the computer. It puts them on a pre-scripted text campaign that for the next 6 days in a row, they'll receive this series of text messages that are all just scripted to make contact.
What do they say?
Well, the first one is pretty just basic. Hey, if it's a seller one, hey, I had a couple questions about your house. Can you give me a call back? Right? We don't say we're real estate agents. We don't say any of this other stuff. It's just because we want to keep that thought interest involved. If it's a buyer, because it depends on what lead source it came through, but if they registered on our site, hey, notice that you were just on our site looking at properties. I was curious I believe the first one is, I was curious if you currently live here or if you're relocating from out of state. So they can hopefully answer with an answer, not, do you need help? No, right? And then that starts the conversation. So they say, no, I'm here locally, or actually I'm moving from California. And so then it just goes through a whole scripted series of them from that point forward.
Plenty of people make a decent living selling real estate, but how many manage to make millions, to become a millionaire? Imagine how much more profitable your business would be if you had the chance to learn from someone who actually made their millions selling real estate. Rebus University instructors know what it takes to build a highly successful highly lucrative real estate business because they've done exactly that. These self-made real estate millionaires spent years in the trenches, identifying exactly what works in today's markets. And that's exactly what they teach. Right now, we're running a 7-day trial on Rebus University's All Access package. For just $7, you can get access to every course. Every millionaire real estate instructor, there's over 40 of them. 40 millionaire real estate instructors that Rebus University has to offer. You have access to all of them. To start your 7-day free trial for only $7, go to futureofrealestatetraining.com. That's futureofrealestatetraining.com, or text trial, TRIAL, to 444-999. That's trial to 444-999. Hey, real estate agents and rock stars. If you're getting value out of the content in this episode, make sure you like the video and subscribe to this channel. Also, click the little bell icon to be notified about upcoming episodes. And I would also love it if you left a comment and shared the most impactful tips and tactics you've learned from the knowledge shared in this episode, or even maybe make a suggestion requesting a topic of what you'd like to learn in future episodes. I welcome any feedback below. Now, back to the episode. Fascinating. Okay, and back to the boot camp. They're doing that, the call center. Are they doing that for 90 days straight, or is that just the first 30 days?
90 days straight. Yep. 90. So 90 days is for us to evaluate them to see if they've got what it takes to make it through this. And also, if they're not licensed, we require them to get licensed during that 90-day process.
No kidding. So you'll actually hire people that don't even have their license, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, because what we found is we'd almost rather do it that way, because we find A, talent, B, people that are hungry. The problem with working with agents that are already licensed is they already have all these preconceived notions of what real estate is because they talked to Sally, or they went to this class, or they went to all that. I'd rather bring somebody into my organization where I can show them and go, look, here's what we know works. If you do this and listen to this and run this play and run this program, you will easily make 6 figures in 12 months. If you don't, it's not the right. We tell everybody, if Keller Williams was the Navy, then we would be Navy SEALs, right? That's how we look at it, that we train harder, we practice harder, we have the best equipment. That's how we look at it. And again, just like the Navy SEALs, it's not for everybody.
Yeah, and the worst case scenario is they fail, right? They quit SEALs. Best case scenario, what's the best case scenario? Like what's the best someone has done during that 90 days?
Yeah, so we've had people that have automatically gone right into, becoming a listing agent. One of our agents this year is up for Rookie of the Year. I think he made 165 grand this year.
Jeez.
So going through that
first year. And obviously, yeah. And he probably only made 9 grand the first 3 months.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
So let's talk about your military background. First of all, thank you for your service.
Sure. So, I was United States infantry. I was in Iraq and Kuwait, multiple tours. I was in Operation Iraqi Freedom. Actually, even after that, I got out and I worked for Halliburton doing private security in Kuwait and Baghdad, even after I finished my first tour with the Army.
And so what did that teach you that you have brought forward into the real estate game?
Absolutely.
That has allowed you to succeed?
Yeah, and a lot of people think it's the structure and the discipline. It's not necessarily that. It's honestly consistency, right? The name of this entire game is just consistently doing the same thing. The Army was very monotonous, right? But that's how they built the structure, was because you did the same things day in and day out, that they knew when the time comes, you'll be ready for that scenario. So again, when we talked about training at the level that we're going to play at, when I was in the Army, I didn't, go on these training exercises, and what we call going down range and doing, shooting all these targets, planning on, okay, just taking it heartily. I planned on, if I didn't learn this, I'm going to get shot. And I think that's the problem in real estate is you see people come in and they don't act as if their life depends on it. They don't consistently on a daily basis go, okay, if I don't do 100 push-ups a day or script practice today, to put in the same type of aspect, then when the time comes, I'm not going to make it, and not make it at a high level.
Right. Right. And it goes back to what you said when you first came on. You got to play, you got to practice as hard as you play, and that's what or harder. And that's what the SEALs do. Right. I mean,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. I love that. So what mistakes have you learned in your growth process here of the last 18 years that you could maybe bestow some advice on based on some failures that you've had?
Absolutely. Well, the advice would be get a mentor and try to always continue to be modeling at somebody that's doing a higher level than you. If, we're modeling off of a group that's doing 2,500 units right now, and I think what happens is a lot of us get very comfortable with 20, 25 deals, and we think that, oh, I don't want the headache of this, or I don't want that, or I don't want this. I think you have to model off of someone else that has bigger goals than what you currently have. Number one, the failures that I've had, which have been many, are not everybody's going to be the right fit. That was the first thing that I learned is we really were just taking anybody with a pulse. And then you realize because they were, and even people that had good production that wanted to join the team, if they don't align with your system and your game plan, then it's hard to sit down and have those conversations and say, hey, this isn't going to work. And so I think that was the big opening mindset of just, it's okay if we're not the right fit for everybody.
And if I'm an agent that's been in business 4 years and I sold, let's say, 17 houses last year, do I still have to go through boot camp to be on your team?
Absolutely. Yeah, even more so. And a lot of that we got from, even like major companies like Zappos and some of these, they still have people work in their call centers, for 60 or 90 days, even if it's the CEO that's coming in new to the company, because hey, you're going to appreciate what that ISA does.
Is that true? Does that really happen? Like they made the new CEO work a call center?
Absolutely. Because again, it makes you appreciate the system, because nothing is harder than that ISA's job, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And so once you understand how difficult that is, every time they set an appointment for you, you honor that. And number two, it also is a reminder of, I probably don't ever want to go back to that.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. What about technology? Let's talk a little bit about technology. What apps on your phone, what technology you use in the office that you could share with us so agents listening might want to get it as well?
Yeah, 100%. So I always pitch, we use Real Geeks as our CRM, and by far and away, I couldn't recommend a better company that we've experienced. I know some people use Boomtown, but Real Geeks has been amazing for us. So that's number one. Trello. Trello is our workflow processing system. Trello's free, which is insane. So it's Trell. I don't know if anybody else is using that, but it literally revolutionized our contract to close process. We use it for everything. Basically it's kind of like a Pinterest for anything you're trying to accomplish. So that's been probably the second, I guess, biggest technical piece that we have. And then the only other thing we use is a company called Altos, ALTOS, Altos Market Reports. And we use them for all of our monthly market reports that we send to clients that has lead generation systems built into it. I would say those are the three big ones that we utilize right now.
And the Altos is, what is it? Just like stats on your area that you can make into a newsletter? What is it?
Yeah, it's an interactive marketing reports. We use them for when we go on our listing presentations to obviously help us leverage timing and what we're trying to do there. But B, it just keeps us in front of people on a weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly basis that want to know what's going on in the market. It'll tell you on there, is now a good time to buy? Is now a good time to sell? You can, it's super detailed if you want it to be super detailed. So I would say it's an interactive marketing interactive real estate statistics. That's what
interactive. And what's interactive mean?
So they can click on different things depending upon what information they're trying to figure out, as far as condo versus single family versus ranch house versus townhome versus all these different things. So it's just, I guess, it really harvests a lot of data and makes it very specific to what the user's individual situation is without you having to go in there. What the problem was, is I'm sure you would relate to this, is let's say that you own a condo in Denver and I'm sending you market stats on single family homes, right? That doesn't make any sense to you. But I also don't want to take the time to go back and audit my entire database to put in there every single individual report for that person's type of property, or for a buyer that still may not even know what they're looking for. So this gives them the ability to still receive the report, but as they open it, they can experience it in a different way than another client.
Yeah. Fascinating. I love that. I love that. Okay. So let's wrap this up, Brendan, with our flagship question. And that is this. Let's say I took you, and I'm going back 18 years, Brendan. So I'm going back 18 years to where you first started. You got to start thinking like that. But you've certainly got a team of all new agents, or a lot of new agents, and you're getting them to think like new agents. So this will be easy for you. But let's say that I put you on an island with 9 other real estate agents. And this island, there's a lot of commerce. There's a lot of things going on. People buying and selling houses, right? But you only have $1,000, as well as the other 9 only have $1,000. You only have 1 cell phone and 1 computer. You got 6 months to sell as many houses as possible. And if you sell more houses than the other 9 agents, you win a $5 million prize, right? How is Brendan Bartic going to win this game show?
Expireds. Yeah. So I have the ability to call expired listings?
Yeah, absolutely. You got $1,000, a computer, and a phone.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I think the core of any business is, by far and away, if you can become a master at expired listings and that process, and you have $1,000. So I would spend that $1,000 on a dialing system, a headset. If I had any left over, I would probably spend it on trying to put together a decent listing presentation. Because with that capability, every single day, regardless of the market, I know there was days where because we're in a hot Colorado market, where there was days where there was 4 or 5 of them. Even with that 4 or 5, there was still the buildup of 600 over the last 12 months. And these are people that want to sell, have already decided that they want to use a real estate agent and pay a commission. They just didn't get it done the first time around for some reason. And all you have to do is figure out what that reason is and provide them with an answer. So there's no better source that you could go to be able to get business if you wanted to make money. I would say people are like, if you had a gun to my head and said I had to sell a house in the next 45 days, I would spend the next 3 days going and door knocking. And then you can door knock them. I'd door knock every expired. I would drop off package. I would do whatever it took. And then I would have another week to get them under contract so it could close.
I love how you simplified that. I mean, right? I mean, they've already decided they want to sell. They've already decided they want to pay an agent.
Yeah.
Right. So you're not, convincing them why they should pay an agent like a FSBO. And it's just, and they've already got some problem, and you just have to figure out what the problem is and solve it.
And half the time it honestly is the agent that they first hired wasn't honest enough with them about what the house needed to look like or the pricing that needed to be done to get it sold.
And by the time it expired, it was too late because they hated that agent because their follow-up was shitty, and they, and they were frustrated. So even if the agent at that point said, hey, you need to stage the house or paint the walls or drop the price 15 grand, they wouldn't have listened, but they will listen to the new person who they love and they've, developed this bond with because they were so enthusiastic.
100%. Absolutely. Because you're right. That trust was broken in that first 3 weeks of them not having any activity.
Yeah, I love it. Makes a lot of sense. Well, no doubt you would win the game. Brendan, as you know, everybody that comes on our show brings a free gift with them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the free gift in your show notes, which is going to be hibandigital.com/Brendan, BRENDAN, Bartic. Brendan Bartic. So hibandigital.com/Brendan Bartic. It's BARTIC. I'm going to also put all of Brendan's contact information. If you guys want to reach out to him, say thank you for being so candid. Thank you for your help. Good luck to you in the Denver, Colorado area. If you got any referrals of someone who wants to buy or sell in Denver, he's your guy. It'll all be there on hibandigital.com/Brendan Bartic. Brendan, what is your free gift that you brought with you today?
Well, we're going to send out, you're meaning what we're going to provide everybody?
Yeah, provide everybody.
Yeah. So we're going to send out our entire script book to everybody. So every script that I've custom wrote to help me gain more business, we'll put out to everybody. And I would be more than happy to reach out if anybody has any other questions or anything else I can do besides that.
Amazing, guys. Like, this is one of the best free gifts ever. You just get his script book, print that sucker out, and have it at your desk 24/7. Any script you need, you just flip to it and start reading. That's a great gift. Thank you so much, Brendan.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. So remember, hibandigital.com/Brendan Bartic. I'm also going to put it in the Agent Success Toolbox, which can be found at hibandigital.com/toolbox, or just text the word toolbox to 444-999. And I will put that, as well as over 100 other gifts that people have brought on the show, into that toolbox for you and ship it out to you. Brendan, this has been beautiful. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day today to come on, and best of luck to you in the future.
Thank you. Appreciate everything you're doing and helping people out so they can have success.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Real Estate Rockstars. If this free content is giving you a ton of value, I want to ask a small favor in return. I need you to pull out your pointing finger and hit the subscribe button. Yes, hit subscribe, please. The more subscribers that we get on Real Estate Rockstars, the better guests are attracted to the shows. We'll get more guests from the top companies, from the top teams, and even more celebrity guests like Robert Kiyosaki and Barbara Corcoran. Also, if you're not a member of our free Facebook group, go to Real Estate Rockstars Radio right on Facebook and join the conversation. I'm on there myself on FaceTime Lives, and we have a lot of communications and questions about the show, and I'd love to see you there. And it's free. People ask me all the time, where am I on social media? I'm real easy to find. Just type in my name. My IG is I am Pat Hyben. It is blowing up on Instagram, adding tons of subscribers, and I'm on there probably twice a day. So definitely follow me on Instagram, as well as everywhere else. Thanks again for listening, and keep rocking.